What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live, the greatest community in all of crypto, not just YouTube, but all of crypto. And that is our goal each and every single day, to make it better. And we would not be able to do it without each and every single last one of you. So thank you so much for tuning in this morning. It is going to be a great day. I got some bad news, however. A lot of you guys knew, and we're waiting for Caleb Franzen to be able to join the show with us today. And unfortunately, he's actually sick this morning, so he's not going to be able to join. But the show must go on. We still got some great content coming up. Some interesting things coming from the Fed. Again, I was really excited to get to hear Caleb's take on it. Maybe we'll be able to get his take later in the week or even next week about what this means. But it could have some massive implications for Bitcoin and the rest of crypto. We're going to talk a little bit about Ethereum as well, because in case you didn't see last night's video where I got to interview Forrest, there's some interesting concept about the future of Ethereum that you do not want to miss. Make sure you stay tuned for that entire thing. I am joined today by two of the most fantastic co-hosts in the entire world. One of them being to my right, Tshroom.
Hey, hey.
The other being to my left, it is Smay the Turtle King.
Hey, how you doing?
Smay, how you feeling this morning? You seem a little down.
Oh, well, I gotta say I'm doing all right. Definitely not as good as Vitalik, though.
Hey, okay. Okay. All right, we're going to wrap this back in. Whew. That was family show, Smay.
Oh my God.
We're going to keep this, pleasant. That was crazy though. That was crazy. I'm so excited to be here with all of you guys. We're going to start off as we always do. We're going to go over here and read these green names. That is all of our members here on YouTube. Smay, take it away and keep it family friendly.
Okay, I will do my best to keep it family friendly, Tim. So here we have some green names here. I'm just so excited to read green names, like some guy who owns a project that I like. So we have Colin McDonald, Mitch Shaw, Justin Eubanks, Colin McDonald again, Mike Lowry, Alien, Kevin Grims, Mike Lowry, Matt C. I'm running out of names here. Silent, The Lighten Leaf. Sean Burns Jr., Adam Rourke, Emil Fellow, Crypto Ben Franklin, Tyler Main, Shannon Sharp, Tshroom, all of you guys, I love you.
Yes, we absolutely love all of our green names and blue names, all of our moderators in chat. We would not be able to be such a fantastic show and a group and a community without all of you guys. So thank you so much. Speaking of community, though, we have a couple of minutes here before we need to jump into all of our crypto. If you need to, go grab your coffee, take your bathroom break. But Matt, I gotta pick a little battle here with Matt C. Matt C is trying to come between Smay and I. Some of you guys know that I'm an avid Virginia Tech fan. Some of you know, maybe not as many know because he's not as avid, but Smay is a West Virginia fan, and of course we play this year. And Matt is coming into our chats with absolutely BS statistics, trying to cause a fight between us. So Matt, I'm going to need you to cut that out. Also, West Virginia and JT Daniels, they're not doing much of nothing this year. Let me know in chat if you guys are sports fans, if you're football fans, what you guys think about West Virginia.
But this is how Virginia Tech's going to do.
That's great.
And this is how West Virginia's going to do.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Smay, can you name one player on the team other than JT Daniels?
Yeah. I can name a player from last year.
That does not count.
Oh, okay. Then no.
Yeah. Well, we're about to jump in and get back into that crypto. We're jumping into Crypto Market Pulse a little early this morning. I know a lot of you guys are always excited to hear Tshroom's take, but as you know, the future of how we're doing this is every single segment is going to be brought to you by a sponsor, one of our partners that helps us keep the lights on here at Coffee and Crypto. And Smay, I'm going to throw it to you. Who is our sponsor today of our Market Pulse?
Well, gee, Tim, we don't have one. I'm kidding. Of course we have one, guys, and that is Unstoppable Domains, guys. It is the future is upon us. The future of DeFi is upon us. And that means you got to be equipped and ready to take it on. You have to be seen. You got to be heard. You got to be known in the DeFi space. And how do you do that? Well, with an unstoppable domain. It's just like a regular domain, but in crypto, and in fact, it's unstoppable. You buy it, you own it, it's an NFT, it's non-fungible, not recreatable, nobody can steal it, nobody else owns it but you. And it makes the DeFi space so much simpler. It is the future. So why don't you guys go ahead, link in the description, buy your unstoppable domain today.
Boom. Thank you so much, Smay. Before we throw it to Tshroom, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. Again, we want to thank you, everybody who's watching right now. Whether you have a blue name, a green name, or just a white name, we love you guys. So smash that like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more entertaining and fun, yet still very helpful information about the crypto market. And with that being said, Tshroom, take it away.
If you're listening to the sound of my voice, ladies and gentlemen, that means only one thing, that you are in the market pulse. Baby, let's do it. All right, Smay, if you'll go over to my screen, I'm going to start it off with something I don't usually, and that is the 90-day percentage on coin market cap. So we're going to check it out. So up the highest on the 90-day percentage is actually Lido DAO. And then you have Chili's. What you got, Tim?
Say, how about that Chili's coin right there? You know what that's a sign of? That's a sign of the sports world is back and it's active. So shout out to Chili's, one of my favorite coins.
That's true. Chili's
And
is
the best restaurant.
doing well.
That's a, I don't know.
Wah, wah.
Dude,
Let's continue the market pulse.
Crispers?
Well, I
Anyways.
feel like the market pulse is kind of getting invaded right now.
Okay,
so
sorry.
let's keep going.
Sorry.
Also, Matic doing really, really well. That's one of my faves. But Lido DAO definitely leading the way here by a wide margin. So very exciting. If you are in any of those names over the last 90 days, you've been experiencing some jubilance. Moving along to the Fear and Greed Index. Extreme fear is the reality that we are back in. We're kind of been riding the fence here day after day. Last week it was extreme fear. Then yesterday it was only fear. And now we're back into extreme fear. So take this what you will. I think it's kind of proof that we're kind of at a decision point, kind of consolidating until we get that inflation number. That's my take, but there's also a lot more going on as well, especially with the merge and things like that, as we'll talk about a little more in a few minutes. But September 21st is the big decision day for when the Fed makes its decision on interest rates, whether they will hike 75 basis points or 50 basis points. And right now it's looking stronger than ever, like it's going to be 75 basis points, folks. And 50 basis points is continuing to wane. And it's 72% likelihood that we're going to see a 75 basis point hike come September 21st. The only thing in the way of that being an absolute certainty is ultimately, how lower oil prices relative to the last 3 months is going to translate into the economy and translate into interest rates, which will manifest itself boldly on September 13th as we get that inflation print. But I'd say even that may not be able to stand in the way of Jerome Powell as he barrels towards a 75 basis point hike on September 21st. I hope you've appreciated this romantic vision of this bit of the story of the market pulse. Let's move on into the stories themselves. 3 reasons why Ethereum proof of work hard fork tokens won't gain traction. So you may not be following this, but there's forks that are trying to go off of Ethereum when it merges, and a bunch of dApps and a bunch of other oracles and things like that have said that they will not support it. So let's see why they will not work. The first one is there's no backing and oracle support for forked stablecoins. That's the big one. That's probably the one that's going to make these proof of work forks not viable for Ethereum. And then moving along, leading dApps will incentivize users to ditch forked tokens. So the dApps that are on the real Ethereum, the proof of stake Ethereum, are going to be able to, because of how much more demand they'll be able to incentivize users to use the real Ethereum over the forked Ethereums. And then the last one, Ethereum Classic never gained traction. So we actually have a case study for this. Ethereum Classic is still a pretty popular fork, but it never really gained traction anywhere near what Ethereum, obviously Ethereum, but even there's a ton of altcoins that are much more popular than Ethereum Classic. So a good case study there. All right, moving on. Staying in the realm of Ethereum, though, Ethereum Bitcoin could see turbulence as open interest leverage ratios soar to record high. So you got a little chart there. This is the perpetuals market, and the open interest has never been higher for both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum being the blue line there, and this is the ratio. So what does this mean, though, What does this mean, Tshroom? What does this mean? Because we may not be familiar with the perpetuals market. The metric is calculated by dividing the amount of dollars locked in open perpetual futures contracts by the market capitalization of the underlying cryptocurrency. The ratio represents the degree of leverage relative to the market size or sensitivity of the spot price to the derivative market activity. Both Ether and Bitcoin's perpetual futures open interest ratios stood at a lifetime high above 0.03 and 0.02 at press time. So basically what this means is that I think I may have highlighted one more. Yeah, let's get this out. Let's get this going here. The rising ratio indicates open interest is outpacing market size and increases the risk of volatility due to the future long/short squeezes. And this is all due in part to the research of decentral researcher Lewis Harland. So what does this mean? It basically means that folks are really pouring into this perpetuals market. And these are contracts that don't actually have an expiration date. And so, this can cause a lot of volatility, and that's what's being expressed here in this CoinDesk article. And CoinDesk's header just loves to pop down there and make it to where you can't actually read any of their stuff. All right, moving along. I don't know if they'll ever fix that because I've been having that problem for so long. Moving along, Abra CEO says it's game on for Bitcoin and crypto after Federal Reserve gives signal for great pause. Here's his timeline. So this is something that we haven't really been seeing too much. This narrative is kind of thawed away about this great pause, but this one's actually a little different, and I found it very interesting, and I wanted to show you. So first of all, Abra Bank it's a crypto bank, and it may not be the biggest one out there, but I consider it to be fairly legitimate, and so these opinions are somewhat influential to me. I think this recession will go on probably until the end of the year. You'll basically see the great pause from the Fed. What is the great pause? That's when you'll hear something to the effect of coming from the Fed. It's fantastic to see that these dramatic rate increases that we've done have had an intended effect of slowing price inflation, blah, 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 blah. Congratulate ourselves, blah, 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 blah. Congratulate ourselves. And what this means in English is we're in a recession now, and because the barometers that most of us use to figure that out are understandable to Joe Public, I don't have to say that. But we're actually in a recession, so we're going to stop those dramatic rate increases and wait and see what happens, which means we don't know what the F to do, but we're in a recession. So hopefully that translates clearly to you. But essentially what this means is that once the recession starts to get bad enough, the Fed is going to have to pivot, right? They're going to have to issue a great pause, meaning they're going to say, even though they aren't confident that inflation has come down where they want to see it, they're going to say, you know what, we're going to shift the goalposts and we're now satisfied with what we've been able to do with inflation. That's essentially what the CEO is saying. And while it's a narrative that has thawed, it could potentially rear its head because I am convinced that this is going to happen at some point. And probably not now. This analyst thinks it's going to happen in October. Thinks that this will happen in October, where the Fed is like, hey, the recession's really bad, unemployment's spiking, and we're actually going to go ahead and just kind of bail on this, and we're going to use a bunch of fancy language that the regular public doesn't know, and we're going to get away with it for the millionth time. All right, moving along. Helium developers. Haven't seen Helium in the market pulse in a while. Helium developers mulling migration of crypto wireless network to Solana. Would this be good or bad for Solana? That's an interesting question you might ask. But Helium, the blockchain platform that uses crypto token incentives to fuel decentralized wireless networks, may soon undergo a significant transformation if a newly revealed proposal passes. It could move from its own blockchain to Solana's. Solana offers significant benefits to Helium that include but are not limited to. I always love saying that. It makes me feel so profesh. Include but are not limited to scale, community, and composability. This change will be monumentous in scope, impact, and benefit to the Helium network and its users. So, seeing a lot of potential, like almost like a merger and acquisition in terms for the crypto space. We obviously don't have those in crypto necessarily, but or in blockchain. They definitely do happen in crypto, but not in the blockchain. So this would be the equivalent. This could potentially be pretty bullish, I'd say, for Solana. I don't know about what would happen to Helium, but in the traditional market, usually the company that's getting bought out, their price goes up. The company that's doing the buyout does not go up necessarily. So traditionally, this would be bearish for Helium. bullish for Helium, but I think this is actually going to be more bullish for Solana, just because this is it's kind of like the equivalent of a major DApp coming online for Solana. So definitely something to watch there. But the name of this BIP, we want to make sure that I get that up there. So it's a HIP 70 proposal, published today, HIP 70 proposal, and you'll want to be tracking that if you're big into Solana or Helium. All right, and I'd say both of those are like top 100 coins, so I think this is pretty significant. It's a pretty significant article. All right, moving along. Reddit co-founder, oh man, I was not ready to read this name. Ohanian's firm, Ohanian. Reddit co-founder Ohanian firm launches 177 million crypto fund.
I used to have
like
that
Stitch.
pain. I used to have the pain of butchering the names. I'm so glad to have passed that on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So have fun, Tshroom.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, so Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian venture capital firm 776 is planning to raise 177 million for a new crypto-focused fund called Cryptos. So this is going to be, potentially a big win for crypto, because the guy who co-founded Reddit, which is a giant information exchange, is going to be pretty bullish, going to be even more invested than he already presumably is. I mean, if he's opening a fund for it, he probably is personally well invested, but he's just putting more chips on the table, right? And so we never want to see manipulation, but I think that this could potentially trickle down into the operations of Reddit. And Reddit actually recently, if you follow some of the major subreddits for crypto, their Reddit has actually released its own NFT light. I don't think they're calling them NFTs, but they're avatars, and they have money attached to them, and you can buy them and you can use them on that site on Reddit. So they've definitely become a lot more crypto friendly, and they're also the host of Wall Street Bets. If you don't know what that is, just skip it. You'll be okay, or go check it out. Whatever you want to do. But what do you think, Tim? Do you think Wall Street Bets is a wholesome community for new traders?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. You can show how much it goes to show. If Tim's not on there, you probably don't want to be on.
Yeah, that's a good take.
There's some interesting stuff there, though. All right. Moving along. And
Bed Bath & Beyond, baby.
Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah. to the moon.
To the moon.
Well, now they changed their ticker to Ape, which is so weird. Or what? No. It was AMC that changed their ticker to Ape. Really? It's like, why would you? I just don't. They're just encouraging.
Because AMC to the moon.
They're just encouraging it. All right. This is pretty, and this is going to be kind of the end here of the market pulse. This is probably one of the bigger guidances that has been issued from the Fed so far in August, other than Jackson Hole, obviously. But so one of the Fed governors, Mester, what's her name? Loretta Mester, sees benchmark rate above 4% and no cuts at least through 2023. So there she is, Loretta, and she's got some interesting things to say here. Mester, a voting member this year of the rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee (FOMC), said she's seeing benchmark rates rising above 4% in the coming months. So that is going to be digested quite thoroughly by the market. This singular sentence, she sees benchmark rates rising above 4% in the coming months. And Tim, I want to throw it over to you to kind of get your opinion on this so far, but there's more to read.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the story. I think what's really important, though, to keep an eye on that 4% number is that Jerome Powell, in the last, not his Jackson Hole speech, but the one that he gave after the FOMC minutes were given here last month, he said the goal was looking around 350. So this is something, we'll talk about this in a little bit. We'll continue to dive into the story, but keep in mind, this number is shifted. It went from originally they thought they'd end the year with 350 to now that number is looking like 4%. I'll throw it back to you, Tshroom.
Yeah, and this doesn't mean that this is coming out of the mouth of Jerome, right? He could have a different opinion, and he could be sticking to that opinion. But Loretta is coming out here, and she's saying that 4 is going to be their number. So varying opinions, and she only has one vote. I don't know if she has a diluted vote compared to Jerome's vote, or if they all have equal votes. But definitely something interesting and important to pay attention to. The Fed this year has raised rates 4 times for a total of 2.25 percentage points. Markets are pricing in a third consecutive 75 basis point increase at the September meeting and looking for rate cuts to start in the fall of 2023. And this is a quote from Loretta. "It would be a mistake to declare victory over inflation beast too soon." doing so would put us back in the stop-and-go monetary policy world of the 1970s, which was very costly to households and businesses. So she's making a couple statements here, but the first one I'm kind of picking out is that she does not consider where we are to be in the 1970s yet, and I wouldn't either, but that's important. So they don't think that we're in that deep of a hole. But she's also still characterizing inflation as a beast. So it's too soon to declare victory over the beast, which means almost certainly that there's going to be 75 basis points in September. Now the question kind of becomes, well, what about the following months? So that's kind of the end of your market pulse, but I'll throw it back over to Tim and see if he has anything else to say.
Yeah, before we wrap that out, because this is what's really big, and we're going to discuss this even more when we jump in to do some TA, but this is what she's pretty much saying. I mean, based on the title of this video is on this story, inflation is not over. Now, theoretically speaking, it could. We could see inflation numbers continue to drop, but just because we've seen one, or let's even say we see this second month, we're about to get numbers here in about 2 weeks. Let's say the number goes down a little bit. Let's say we see 8.3, 8.4, something right in that range. That does not mean it's over. If you were to go look at charts of what historical inflation looks like, it is not a straight line. There's several times where you'll see it come up, it'll dip, and then it'll climb higher and then dip. And so I think what Mester's trying to get at right now is, hey guys, we should not be celebrating a 1 month or even maybe a 2 month retraction. That does not mean inflation is over. And we as the Fed need to be responsible. As I'm listening to her, I'm really starting to like this Mester person. Maybe she should replace Jerome Powell whenever he steps down, because I love that she's saying, hey, we need to be responsible with this. And to say that just because we see 1 or 2 months of good numbers is irresponsible for us to start saying, oh, that means inflation is over. And quite the contrary, there's a lot of signs still pointing at it could get worse. So with that being said, we do want to dive into what this means for Bitcoin, but we'll talk about that and more in the TA section. With that, I'm going to throw it back to Tshroom, and unless you have anything else, that might be wrapping up the market pulse.
That is the end of the market pulse, but I have kind of a juicy question for everybody. Are we ready for that juicy question?
Well, so clear. This is the end of the market pulse, and now we're going to be transitioning. But what we're going to be doing here, just so you guys know, is we're doing our question of the day, but we're going to start splitting it in the middle. Now that we just had a great market pulse by Tshroom, you got all the news and all the updates you guys need that was really prevalent on crypto this morning. We're going to take a breather, relax, get a question in, engage with community, and then we'll jump back into the crypto.
All right, well, Smay, do not go to my screen. Whatever you do, please do not go to my screen. But I've got seriously, do not go to my screen. I got a really good question for you, though. Would you rather lose your sight or your memories? Smay, I want to put that question to you first, then we'll go to
me
Tim.
first.
Sight or memories?
Oh, gosh.
I need an answer.
3
memories. 2, 1. Memories. Okay.
How far does this memories go? Like forgetting how to talk, forgetting my name, forgetting my family?
I think it's just your memories, as in your your experiences, all your.
So I still know how to do. I still retain skills.
Yeah. You can still even come to work, and you guess you're probably not that good at your job. Well, no, you still have technical skills, but you wouldn't remember that time you and Tim threw the baseball in the front yard.
Okay. Did we ever throw the baseball in the front
yard?
Yard?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, wait a minute.
I forgot about it too.
I don't remember it, Tim. Hold on.
I'm gonna go with I would rather lose. The question is which would I rather lose, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather lose my sight.
Oh wow, no,
Yeah.
I'd rather lose my memories.
I like my memories.
They
make me who I am.
They're nice, but I don't really care about who I am. So I'm just gonna start
both suck. I'm not trying to say I want to go blind. I don't want to lose my memories. I feel like that would really.
I feel like a start from scratch would be kind of nice.
You just can't remember all the things.
Gosh, you've had a rough life, huh, Smay?
Well, not a rough life, but just I could probably, starting now, make a better life with no memory of my previous life.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat's saying.
What did you say, Tshroom?
Oh, you want to know what I
want to know what you would
wanna
do.
lose? I would probably go with memories.
You'd lose your memories?
Yeah, I think it's
Because it's not like you get transported somewhere else. You would have people to be able to remind you of things. You know what I mean?
I still want to be able to drive.
That's the bare minimum.
Yeah, if that's what it comes down to, that's easy pickings for me. I don't necessarily.
I don't
want to
be like having to find people to like. I guess Uber exists though, but I just like.
Yeah, but then
driving.
you can't know if you're getting in the right Uber
Yeah.
because you wouldn't be able to see it. So you can get some random guy's car and then end up as like in a guy's refrigerator or something.
Yeah. It's tough to say. Let's see what some people have said.
I see a lot of people saying memories. Most people are in the camp of losing their memories. I saw someone say that you get to meet everyone for the first time again. So that really
Yes.
defines, are you an extrovert or an
Okay,
introvert?
but imagine-
Hold on. That scares the crap out of every introvert in chat, the concept of having to meet everyone all over
Oh
again.
yeah, that's pretty bad.
But if you're an extrovert, then yeah, that's awesome. I wish I'm an extrovert, but yeah.
But here's the thing: you get to you ever have that feeling where it's like you watched a movie and like, I wish I could just watch this for the first time again, or I played a video game and like, oh, this was so good, I wish I could just experience it for the first time again. You could do it. It'd be great. I'd love it.
When people said sight, you should remember things that you do not remember anymore is horrible. Talking from experience. So there's some memories that we want to forget.
The question's a little open-ended about how much you're actually forgetting, but we'll go ahead and move on. Thank you so much, Tshroom, for our question of the day. Before I jump into the TA and our little discussion section, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff here. I'm going to be going through Bitcoin and definitely Ethereum. I want to talk through some stuff over on those two coins, but I will be doing one or two of your guys' 2-minute technicals. So wait, don't spam the chat just yet with those suggestions. We'll get there. But before I do that, who is our sponsor of today's TA and discussion section, Smay?
The sponsor of our discussion section today, I'm saying words, is Hedge. Maybe I forgot my memories. Maybe that was like a legit thing.
It was a legit situation.
It was a legit situation where I just like my brain melted. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna tell you about Hedge. Hedge is literally my favorite company in the entirety of crypto space because it allows you to, I like ease of use. I like being able to lean back and things do themselves. Well, that's what Hedge is. It allows you to dollar cost average without even looking or thinking about an exchange. You literally set up your cold wallet, which by the way, we suggest Ledger, link in the description. You just have to set up your cold wallet and then boom, 10%, 20%, whatever percentage you set of your direct deposit goes directly to your cold wallet with the crypto of your choice. It is amazing. So check it out, link in the description.
Now, this question was deeper than I thought because you lost your memory and I just had an itch and I rubbed my eye and then everything went blurry for a second.
No!
So you should not have asked that question.
Tshroom has magical properties. He asks a question and it happens.
Let's jump over to TA. Go ahead and go to my screen here, Smay. And I'm going to start off. Again, here is the question. We're going to discuss this. I'm going to start on more of a small time frame, and I'm actually going to zoom out today on Bitcoin. But the question is, with this idea that inflation could be very far from over, not just close to over, it could be a while with that, I think Tshroom talked about it in Market Pulse. We could see them be aggressive with interest rate hikes all the way till fall of 2023, not just 2023, fall of 2023. The question is, how will this affect Bitcoin? And then, of course, how will it affect other crypto markets? So I'm going to start out here on the 4-hourly chart. With the VRVP, we bounced back and we kind of started this little zone, this little pocket here to keep your eyes on. I'm going to make some observations about this before we zoom out and we take more of a macro look on what this could look like over the next couple of months. And then again, a year from now, pretty much is what we're looking at. But we've kind of settled in a flat zone. Now, we only have 2 touches each, so let's continue to watch as the price moves to see what will happen. But as you can see on the VRVP, we've created a pocket of volume and a pocket with these prices between the levels of 2 touches now at 20,472. You could kind of round that to 20,500. We did have a wick that went up to 20,553. But the bottom now, with also 2 touches, we have a double bottom and a double top, is around 19.5, all right? So keep your eyes over the next couple of days on those 2 levels, and here's the observation I want to make before we move on and go look more macro out at what could the future hold. In this pocket, look at the volume and what is happening. Of course, we had the high volume itself trading as we drop to these levels, but we've spent more time and there's been more trades and money exchanged at the higher level of this. So what is our takeaway? You're like, Tim, what do I do with this information? There's more volume at the top of this range than there is at the bottom of this range. This is to me signifying a very, very, very strong level of resistance. Now, I'm not saying we can't pop through it because, again, if we can get through this level, if we break through that resistance, we actually have a pretty easy road back up to potentially somewhere around 21,000, which I've talked about before you see a whole lot of resistance, maybe somewhere around 20,700 or so. But as it stands right now, this little zone is actually creating a pretty strong level of resistance at these levels right here around 20,400. So watch this. This is going to be really key with if-then statements. If we can get above 20,400, and let's just go ahead and round it up and say if we can start pressing back towards 20,600, then we get some more relief for the bulls to make a move and cancel out this secondary downtrend. But as it stands right now, we actually have that continuation of bearish pressure pushing us down. And all reality, even though we have a double bottom, we have very weak support down here around 19.5. Keep your eyes on what is happening here over the next little bit. Really quick, we're going to go out to the, I'm staying on the 4-hourly chart actually. Keep your eyes again once, I need to get rid of BRVP because it's just going to block up the screen. Keep your eyes on what is happening here. I still am under the impression we have not finished this little downtrend. I'm still looking for a $19,000 price. This is the bottom level of the volume. The next level after that would be around 18,000. But as I told you guys in previous videos, we got to keep our eyes on what is happening with this level of the rising wedge that broke bearish, in which case, in all reality, you should be breaking out from right here. It puts us a little bit below 19,000. The other thing is this bear flag that we just had formed. It's going to put us down closer to 19,000 when I utilize it. And again, I really should go from up here to use this bear flag, and that's going to give us a breakout. That sends us actually down to 18,000, so keep your eyes there. But let's just go a little bit more conservative and say, you know what, let's just go where it kind of got parabolic. We'll go from the breakout and down to the bottom of that flag. This would give us a price prediction of right there, right above the $19,000 level. So these are the reasons, those three reasons right there. I still believe, now pairing with the added pressure right there at 20,500, I still believe we're going to be seeing $19,000 price of Bitcoin very, very soon. But let's go out even more macro and look at what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks and months. So what I'm going to do and rely on here is I'm going to go out to use Lux Algo and take a look at the market as a whole. You guys know we love Lux Algo. Those of you who have Lux Algo, you guys love it. If you don't have it, there's a link in the description down below. This is just one more tool to your technical analysis. I wouldn't suggest using Lux Algo instead of normal TA. I would recommend adding this to your toolbox, and it is a great tool to give you really good price levels to go ahead and understand what is happening. Now, here's what we're looking at on the daily chart when it comes to Lux Algo. Of course, it's really easy to see that take profit level, but let's look at a couple other key details. First of all, we have been under a strong sell signal now ever since the 18th of August. Now, that's not everything. A lot of people that just get Lux Algo, they think, oh, that's so cool. They give us buy and sell signals. So every time it flashes buy, I should buy. Every time it flashes sell, I should sell. It's not that simple. We've talked about this on this show before, that you're looking for a trifecta of things to happen to know to target your buys and sells. If this trifecta happens, by no means is it 100% certainty, but more often than not, meaning well higher than 50%, when you see these three things happen, your buy or sell signal is a very, very valid signal. So those three things are, first of all, let's get the signal. Second, let's get a trend catch color. So this right here, this line, you guys see this red line, that's called our trend catcher. We got to get that trend catcher to match the signal. And then the last one is the candle body, the candle color. This was a rare situation that, as you guys can see right there, it flashed almost immediately after breaking out of this rising wedge with all three. We already had the red trend catcher, but we needed the candle and the strong sell signal. Sure enough, in the same candle here on the daily chart, the same day back here on August 19th, we finished the trifecta. And so this right here, if I'm utilizing Lux Algo correctly, would have told me it's a pretty safe bet to say Bitcoin's going to drop. And now I'm looking at that take profit level and giving it a lot of significance. Well, where is the most conservative, most bullish outlook I could get on this sell signal? It is saying 18,365. The aggressive range, if we just get a bunch of bearish pressure, it's saying on the daily chart, we could drop all the way down to 13,500. Now, here's what you need to remember. We're on the daily chart. What I'm using the daily chart for is not to say what the price is going to look like the rest of today. I'm not even saying this is going to tell me what the price is going to look like maybe 2 or 3 days from now. This is showing me about a week to maybe multiple weeks out into the future. So as it stands right now, just because we're having some bullish action and we're not dropping today does not mean that the daily chart is not showing us the future is still looking bearish. And like I said, the most bullish outlook the daily chart has is 18,300. Let's zoom out just a little more and see what the other charts are saying. Let's go to the 3 daily chart. So this one, again, if I'm going to use the daily chart for like maybe a week to maybe multiple weeks, the 3 daily chart I'm going to use for multiple weeks to potentially even months. Here's what we're seeing on the 3 daily chart. Now, we've had a red trend catcher ever since back here in April. So we've had a red trend catcher for a while. We've had times where we had sell signals. Look at this right here. Red trend catcher, strong signal, red candle. What was this? April 28th. Look at the price action that followed. Guess what we have now on the 3 daily candle, on the 3 daily chart? Strong sell signal, red trend catcher, red candles. The take profit that's the most conservative, most bullish is 14,000. Now, is that a guarantee? Like I said, this is not a promise. This is not 100%. But you should definitely look at this and say, uh-oh, we got some problems. We got some questions. The aggressive side of the 3 daily chart is saying that Bitcoin could drop as low as 6,600. Now, pause right there. I don't think we're going to get that far. That's not what I'm saying. But if the sky does start falling, if Bitcoin gets some sort of catastrophic fundamental update that people didn't know about, and it's actually very hard, like, you know, if the perceived notion of Bitcoin continues to sour as a fundamental project, not just demand, not just price, but fundamentals, yeah, I mean, maybe we're starting to see the price start to crash down towards those levels. I'm kind of sticking more, hey, if it goes down here and we don't see major updates, that level's looking kind of one to keep an eye on. If things change in the sentiment of the market and other things, then I'll change my opinion. But right now, I'm very aware that everything at this point is pointing on the 3 daily chart that we could be going down as low as 14,000, 13,000. Let's go out and leave it a little farther, go out to the weekly candle. So this is where you actually maybe potentially get a little bit of hope. But, you know, there's still some things you got to wrestle with here. So we have had a sell signal. We've not had an update to the signal on the weekly chart since all the way back in November. So literally here, 3 weeks after hitting an all-time high, there is a sell signal. Now, it took a couple more weeks before we got our red candle. But as you guys noticed, at that candle, the trend catcher, I'll zoom in for you guys, the trend catcher's still green. Well, boom, we got a red trend catcher, and it started to fall. Now, we knew on this channel, we knew that, hey, we're going to see some negativity here. It doesn't, at this point, we didn't have the take profit levels. We didn't know exactly what that was going to talk about. But we knew, hey, the price is going to drop. But when we started to see these purple candles start to pop up, we're like, all right, here's some indecision in the market. Potentially, we're going to see some turning. And sure enough, we rallied, and there's a lot of hope that we could even go higher. But then the candles turned red again. And we said, all right, it's going to have to drop. And drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. We did. The good news is we have technically hit the take profit level. There is a chance that we see some turnaround here according to the weekly chart, but this is only the very conservative part of the take profit. In reality, it is saying it could get as bad as going down to 12,000. So you might be wondering right now, Tim, what do I do with this information? Smay, you can go off my chart for just a second. When I'm combining with the fact that there is sentiment in the space, that bearish pressure is still coming in, when I'm listening to the Fed, which has shifted this whole year with a narrative of being very dovish, very hopeful for a soft landing, that we can stave off and we can keep that recession away, people can keep their jobs, we're really not in that much trouble, to now even they are starting to be aware, even though we all knew this, they're now becoming very aware that this is not a safe place, that the inflation is getting out of control, that recession at this point is pretty much inevitable. The question is it going to be a major recession or potentially start pushing towards some people calling it a depression? That's what they're trying to hold off. They already know recession is here. They already know recession is going to hit. The question is, how bad will it get? And to keep that from getting bad, they've got to continue to raise those interest rates. That's what that Fed was talking about. Her name Mester was talking about here, and she's actually, to give her credit, she's been talking about this for a long time. She has been hawkish for a long time. She has been saying we need to get aggressive with this for a long time. It just seems like just now Jerome Powell and the rest of the Fed are catching up and saying, "Dang, she was right. Yeah, we gotta deal with this." So when I'm dealing with those things, that's not fundamental updates to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. One Bitcoin still equals one Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still so fundamentally strong and is the solution for the future of currency. You have to be aware that the pressures are completely bearish at this point. And while there was a lot of hope that those pressures were over, what is coming out right now is that pressure is going to continue. And then I'm going and looking at the charts, and I'm looking at the worst case scenarios. And I'm not saying it has to get to the worst case scenario, but you need to start exploring these worst case scenarios. We're seeing best worst case scenario be around 19 to 18,000. The pain's going to continue. We're saying if things can't recuperate and the pressure doesn't kind of start to level out, and there's not anything new bullish pressure, no new adoption from institutions, no new clarity on regulation that brings in trillions of dollars of more whale institution money, then we got to start exploring that medium to worst case scenario, and that's when we're starting to look down at that $10,000 level. You guys have heard other influencers. You guys have seen many people talking about 11,000. It's not over. It's not that simple. It's not a guaranteed thing we're going down that far. But it's also not out of the question. And we got to start preparing ourselves for it. So that is the macro outlook. When we're looking at this news, when we're looking at what is just comes out of the word of Mester, what we just saw happen with Jackson Hole, this is downwards pressure, and we need to be prepared for it. That Bitcoin's drop, Bitcoin's pain, it's not over. And until we get some bullish pressure to match it, it's not going to be over. And that's not what everyone wants to hear. But here's what's so cool about it is that if you train your brain to think about this correctly, you can either be, one, very disappointed and cry and be worried and then say, I'm done with crypto. Crypto is losing me money, yada, yada, yada. Or number two, you can say, oh, wow. I might be in the red right now, but I'm about to get a great buying opportunity to acquire more because I know the fundamentals of Bitcoin are still solid. The fundamentals of Bitcoin are still phenomenal and are going to make me millions in the future. I'm going to choose to see the silver lining on this dark cloud and take advantage of it. So the question I have for you is, which one are you? So let's pause right there. That's all I have for Bitcoin. We're about to transition into Ethereum, but I want to hear really quickly, Tshroom, any thoughts you have to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I really like what you said where it's like we can't rule out 11,000, but we also don't want to, believe that that's the only outcome, that it has to go down and tap 11,000. I think that that's really good. That's a really good mindset to have, is like prepare for that. And what does that really translate to from an individual standpoint? When I hear that, I hear keep cash on the sidelines. Don't keep putting all of your paycheck, that you don't max out your paycheck or whatever revenue you're getting into anything you're investing in. But in this case with Bitcoin, don't max it out each time. Continue to DCA the amount that you feel comfortable, but don't max it out each time, and keep some cash on the sidelines. And so in the event that it does go down to 11, and you still have the ability and the conviction at that level to keep buying in, then you'll be, rewarded down the line once there is a recovery. Once that grand pause that the CEO of that crypto bank was talking about, once there is that reversal in the monetary policy, once that happens and a big exhale happens in the market and everybody feels a little bit better because the Fed is basically saying, hey, inflation has been conquered. The beast of inflation has been conquered. Then, there's less panic at the gates, right? And that's when asset prices, come back up and ascend. But we don't know that we could see 11,000, by the end of this year, or it could be a slow decline, 11,000 to the end of next year.
Right.
We don't know, and there's going to be all kind of twists and turns, and depending on whatever news stories happen between now and then, whether it's in crypto or whether it's in American politics is about to undergo a pretty big change. You have to be ready, and you have to keep cash on the sidelines. I have to be. It's very tempting for me to just buy in. Bitcoin down to 19,500. I'm going to buy in with everything I have. It's like, don't. At this point, it's really not that tempting because I've just been through it so many times. I don't. But it's tempting to increase maybe my DCA percentage, and I did. I increased my DCA percentage when it did drop down to 20,000 actually, and then it went down to 19. It just goes to show, how wrong you can be. But it's so much better to be wrong incrementally than to be wrong once, and you put all of it down once, and then when the price comes down once, and then and then it keeps going lower, and then you more than likely, if you don't have confidence in what you're invested in, you're going to sell for a loss. So that's kind of my take, Tim. I really appreciated what you had to say. It doesn't have to go down to 11,000, but keep believing that it could. because I 100% believe it could go down to 11 or 10.
Yeah.
But the TA is kind of showing 11 is what it's looking like. So, yeah, that's my take.
Well, we're going to transition here, and I thought about it. I was like, I'm not even going to go to my screen real quick, and we can look at the charts real quickly, but I'm not going to spend this time talking about Ethereum looking at the charts very much. It dropped. It didn't drop back down to the same levels that Bitcoin did. So actually, Ethereum at the moment is outpacing Bitcoin to the upside, and we're about to talk about why. And some of you might be saying, "Oh, Tim, didn't you say that Ethereum is going to be outpacing Bitcoin Ethereum is going to not be outpacing Ethereum Cardano?" I actually need to take this time. I'm very honest with you guys. What you guys are about to hear from me is my saying I was wrong. And I'm going to I have to change my opinion about the future of Ethereum. And you want to know why? You can go off my screen now. I had a fantastic interview yesterday with Forrest from Crypto Stackers. If you did not watch it, go back and watch it. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I didn't even fully process everything he was talking about while we were talking because it was so new. It was so foreign. I'd never really sat there and dug through that type of information. And then afterwards, I was able to process it and think on it and then go back and look at those numbers. And I'm like, holy cow, I did not know this. Now, I have some questions. I'm not ready to necessarily say I'm 100% behind this boat because I want some clarifying questions from other people that understand the tech more so than I do. But stay with me on this as we talk about Ethereum because I just gave you guys a very bearish outlook on Bitcoin, but hopefully still you see that and you're like, all right, there's an opportunity that presents itself. I'm about to pump what most of you guys will call a hopium into the Ethereum space. And that's, take this what you will. Go watch the video, do your own research. But I am coming to the conclusion I agree with what Forrest said yesterday. And those of you who watch the video know what I'm talking about. A year from now, we might be seeing a more than 5, maybe potentially even upwards of $10,000 Ethereum. Now I'm going to pause right there and let that sink in. Because what I just talked about with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin has still got some rough stuff happening. I'm not saying a year from now I think Bitcoin's going to be down at 11,000. I think Bitcoin will hit, if it goes down that far, will hit it more sooner and then it'll start to come back up. I do think Bitcoin will be hovering at least somewhere between 20 to 40 by next year. But that's not really that bullish. That's just the beginning stages of what a bull market will look like in the future. Ethereum, I'm saying it will go back to match all-time highs and potentially double those all-time highs. And that would be ridiculous. And here is the reason why. So if you didn't watch the video, I'm going to kind of summarize a lot of the points for you. But first of all, when we're looking at price action, of any coin, whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano, anything else, what we're analyzing more often than not is the demand side of what the price is. We're always analyzing, is the demand going to go up? Is the demand going to limit? That's what mostly moves the prices that we talk about on this show. We're looking at news to decide that. We're looking at the fundamentals to decide that. But remember that when we're analyzing the price, there's two factors. One of them is demand, and one of them is supply. If this is correct, and I'm very happy to be fact-checked, but until I get told other information, this is what I'm going to go off of. If this is correct about what is going to happen with Ethereum's merge, then this should be absolutely parabolically bullish for Ethereum. And I'm going to go, and now you can share my screen. And this is a tweet that was put out by Forrest. And again, if you guys fact check me on this and you show me evidence that says, Tim, this isn't really true, then I will change my opinion once again. But mining rewards currently are 13,000 ETH per day. That's the pre-merge. The staking rewards that will happen the staking rewards that happen are going to be dropping it to 1,600 ETH per day. That is a 90% dip in new supply. So go off my screen here real quick, Smay. Let's just think through this. And this is what Forrest talks about in the video. So don't just trust me for it. Go back, watch Forrest, let him explain it. He's going to explain it better than me anyway, but I want to explain it how I process it and what I'm working with right now. Anytime that you go back and look at any project, gold, Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin so valuable? Why do we always talk about the halvings as being significant events? The halvings start these massive parabolic bull runs, and the reason why is because the new supply coming out just got cut in half, 50% reduction. So when we're talking about the demand versus supply, we need demand to go up or the supply to come down for the price to go up. Every time Bitcoin halves, the supply goes down. Throughout the history of gold, let's talk about gold for a second. Every single time it becomes difficult for miners to go in and actually mine the gold, and the new supply coming out, which we call the stock to flow ratio, comes down, the price of gold, if the demand stays constant, will increase. When the supply goes up and you can mine more gold, that's when the price comes down unless demand matches it. If this is true, that Ethereum post-merge will be dropping its new supply daily by 90%, even if there's somewhat of a cut in demand, and that's what we're looking at, with all this pressure from the Fed, all this continuation of fighting inflation, it will limit demand. But will it limit it so drastically that it will match that dip in supply, the new supply daily from Ethereum? My answer is no. And so consequently, even though demand might continue to fall on Ethereum the same way I think it could fall for Bitcoin, and it will fall for Cardano, it'll fall for other projects. I do think there's a level of, I think Cardano is closer to its floor than these other two projects, but we'll talk about that in a different segment. Even if demand on Ethereum falls, this massive amount of decrease in supply is going to cause the price of every Ethereum to increase dramatically. So I want to hear what the chat has to say about it. I'm sure there's a lot of interesting takes there. But this is a hot take that actually has a lot of fundamental updates. And I think this is phenomenal because he was 100% right. 100% right. Sorry. We always talk about demand. We always talk about increasing and lowering demand. Rarely do we get to talk about supply. And that's why Bitcoin halvings are so special. We're about to see something happen very special on Ethereum. That is my take on Ethereum before we transition here. You know, Tshroom, I want to hear what you have to say about that. And then even if there's anything interesting in chat, did anyone have any retort or any feedback or was there anyone who fact checked that and said, actually, that's not how that works?
So, okay, so we had a pretty deep and interesting conversation this morning about this news. And my first impulse was, how come I'm not hearing about this? You know, in crypto, we know that like if there's even an inkling that someone can make money somewhere, there's going to be a million videos made about it. And now that I've kind of processed and thought about it more, and honestly, now that I've seen Matt C's comment, it's kind of reminded me that, we have seen this narrative is fairly proliferated right now in crypto news. It just isn't being said like this. It isn't being spelled out in terms of supply change. And what Matt C said was ETH will be deflationary post-merge triple halving. So that is the narrative I have been seeing, is that ETH will be deflationary post-merge. I made the mistake of not digging into that further, and now we're kind of
even more so. Did we know? So I heard deflationary, but did we know the significance of 90? Like I'd never heard 90%. I'd never seen those numbers. Like that to me is the huge number thing and that's why I want people to fact check on. Because I was trying to do research on it, and I'm not finding a lot of articles talking about that specific number. So if that's a false number, then this whole thing, we can readjust it. But if that is true, that is dropping from 13,000 ETH rewards per day to only 1,600, that is huge. That is massive.
Yeah. So if true, and it would be huge. And that's what I tweeted out. If this is true, then it's huge. And please share. I think to get the news around is like, if you're a trader and you've been like you've been trading like Flow, or you've been trading Lido, and having some good gains, it's like, I would want to know, oh my gosh, Ethereum could potentially explode on this news that somehow hasn't gotten communicated to the community yet. But I just can't believe that I haven't seen this before. I've seen the deflationary word thrown around there, that it'll be deflationary post-merge. But I guess when I heard that, it kind of seemed more of that word seems more incremental and gradual over time. Whereas this is not gradual over time. This is when that flip switches from proof of work to proof of stake, that immediately that supply is going to be shown in the code, that whatever 90% less code, probably won't be exactly 90, but some north of 50% new supply of ETH will be shown to be being minted, and people are going to react to that. The market's going to react to that. There are going to be tweets. There's going to be all kinds of stuff, because people are going to be closely monitoring what's going on with the code during Ethereum, what's going on with the blockchain supply, demand, and ultimately with Ethereum. So yeah, I think at that point in time, it's gonna reverberate around the market, and it's going to get bought up, and folks who I don't want to say get in while people are still kind of less educated, because it's I think plenty of people do understand this, especially people who are devs for blockchains. They understand this if they've taken the time to really research it. But yeah, this is the first time that I've seen it in a non-gradual state, I think is the way I'd say this.
Yeah, we're in a transition away. We'll be definitely talking about this a lot more. It'll be interesting to watch this unfold as, again, like I said, I think that there will be a decrease in demand in the crypto space because of the continual attention from the Fed to tackle inflation. But I'm very fascinated to see how this actually plays out. And like I said, I'm going to be changing my opinion. As much as I love Cardano, I still love Cardano. I still love what they're all about. But I said that I thought that over the next couple of months that Cardano would outpace Ethereum. And I think Cardano should still have a massive rally of its own. But I think Ethereum, with that news breaking, or not news breaking because it's been here, it's just with that revelation to me, my opinion has changed. I think Ethereum absolutely could start to really lead the entire market. And maybe get I don't know if it'll actually surpass it, but at least maybe get close to where we can start those arguments again. Will Ethereum pass Bitcoin? That being said, though, we're going to move into some 2-minute technicals from you guys. So go ahead and spam chat. I'm going to do one today. I'm going to do one coin, and then we're going to be wrapping out the stream for today. But you know, I saw while I'm doing that, I saw some people saying in chat that BitBoys talked about that a little bit. I hadn't seen him, so that, you know, shout out to him if he did that. Good for Ben for seeing that. I don't know why that's not talked about a whole lot more. I've never, you know. Anyway, interesting. Thank you. I saw Steve Hughes says, Tim, you explained the TA in such a clear way. Even I understand it, top man. You know, here's the thing, Steve. I'm very glad that you say that. I'm very glad that that's the feedback because that's what I'm trying to do. I think a lot of people look at technical analysts and they think that this is like this crazy science that you have to spend years in school and understanding world economy and stuff to be able to do this stuff. It's not. It's actually pretty simple, but it does need to be explained in a way that people understand. That's the whole thing about education as a whole. When the reason why there is a problem with education is because every single kid's expected to learn the exact same way, and that's just not how it works. People need to learn at their own levels. It doesn't make one person smarter than the other. It means we're different. So in the same way, I think that so many people think that TA is for these like elite and these like ridiculously intelligent people who understand things on a much higher level. No, any person can understand TA. I'm living proof of that. So thank you so much for that, Steve. That's my mission, to continue to teach you guys all that stuff because anyone is capable of doing this. But Smay, did you see anything specifically in chat that you thought, any coin you saw over and over again that we should do?
I'm seeing, although I feel like it's just the same guy saying it, I'm seeing some Theta. I'm seeing some Matic here, some consensus on Matic. Let's see. One that I see a couple people saying is Gala. I actually think that would be an interesting one to do.
Gala? Yeah.
Gala. Do you want to go ahead and... I mean, I'll cast my vote towards Gala.
I don't even know if I've ever done TA on Gala, so I will go ahead and we'll do Gala.
Yeah, guys, I
have because I have lines.
I did inflate the numbers a little bit. I did cast my bias towards Gala, but I like Gala. It's gonna be cool.
I like Gala fundamentally for the reason. Let me see if there's a. Is it when was Gala created? Was it earlier this year? I might go.
Have no idea.
Maybe it was on. Yeah, okay. I figured that I didn't have the oldest chart because I was like, that's just not a lot of history on it. One reason I like Gala is, and I think it's interesting, even though I'm not a gamer, is the fact that notoriously gamers don't really like the crypto world, but they like Gala. So it's an interesting project from that.
Gamers don't like the crypto world.
A lot of gamers, a lot of like the. I mean, Smay, you could allude to this a little more. That's what I've read / heard, and people talk about is that gamers, like people that are really serious about gaming, they don't like the crypto space because they think that it's not advanced enough for them. They like the other technology.
Okay. No. You're saying that. Okay, but Tshroom, I'll let you say it. I'll let you speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, if you're a gamer and you're looking for more games, crypto is not the place for you right now.
You're right. Good clarification. That's what I meant.
Gamers do actually, they are a leading demo that.
What I mean is the gaming
currencies.
cryptos. They don't like the crypto gaming stuff, but they like Gala.
Well, that's an important distinction.
Yes,
very good distinction.
For show.
Good clarification. All right, so let's go ahead and start this 2-minute TA. First thing I drew on the chart is there is a good floor that we've had all the way back here since back in this is September of 2021. This is we had a level of hesitation here on the daily chart. We did break through it, but there was a spot to keep an eye on there, right around the current level of around 4.8 cents. But we are once again dancing on that floor. After we did have a wick shoot down here in May that went well below it, we've bounced back up and are hanging tight to these levels. But we're currently sitting right at them, a little bit above. We just bounced on it the other day. But let's keep our eyes on that flat level. The bad news that I have for you guys is that with this flat bottom, and yet the prices, yes, we had a little bit of an increase there, but the prices have been decreasing now for a while. Let me go ahead and just draw this one right here. It's not the most perfect, but with a descending level of resistance and at best a flat bottom. You're going to see this potentially be a bearish call for a descending triangle. You know, there's two things I want to think about this, though, and I just want to explore this. This could go bearish. We could read this as bearish with the descending levels, although the last touch of this descending resistance is all the way back in March. The other thing we could potentially say is that this is a very, very firm bottom, similar to what I've talked about in the past with Cardano, and I think there's another I think VeChain was one I also talked about, that it's actually kind of showing the space just doesn't have a lot of weak hands, and unless something in the market creates new weak hands, it's not going to go any lower. It just doesn't have any room to go much lower, although you can make the argument, unlike Cardano wicked down to 39 cents, this one wicked all the way down to 2.9 cents, so there is... Yeah, I'm talking myself out of my argument. I don't think Gala's above falling lower because they proved they could with this wick. Let's look at a couple other indicators, though, really quickly. On the RSI, you know, we don't have really anything screaming at me bullish, bearish whatsoever, so that's not going to be the most reliable one. And we pull down our MACD, and I got to spread this out. We're overall bearish, but it's kind of working its way back bullish, so keep your eyes on that. The trend at the moment on the MACD is flipping back towards the bullish side. Let's look at a couple other indicators here. Don't need the VRVP because that's kind of shit. I can just tell you right now, I could put a cap right there on that level, and that's going to be the masses of the volume happening right there. Let's look at Lux Algo and see what Lux Algo is saying about it, though. We are currently under a strong sell order on the daily chart. We have our red trend catcher, and we do have red candles, and I don't even see the take profit, which is not a good sign. Is there not a take profit? Did it just not have one?
I don't
okay.
see.
Oh, no, it just doesn't even have a take profit. I don't know why Lux Algo doesn't have one on this.
Oh, no, it's super low. It's super low.
You see it? Is it down there?
It's negative. So that's
a broke. That's okay. So this is a scene where something away that Lux Algo gathers its information on Gala is not there. Let's go down to the 4-hourly chart and see if it gives us a little bit better of an idea of what's happening. So we actually have a buy signal, but we don't have all the buy. So here on Lux Algo, I told you guys, it's the flip. We have our buy signal, but guess what we don't have? We don't have a green trend catcher on the 4-hourly chart. We don't have green candles for sure. We have purple ones, which are indecision. So in this case, I would look at this Lux Algo indicator and say, don't read that and say, oh, well, Lux Algo said buy. No, Lux Algo has not said buy yet. It's actually just told you that there's a lot of indecision in the space right now, and it cannot collect the information to go in the right direction. So I know you guys wanted TA. I'll let you talk about it here in a second, Tshroom, but I'm telling you right now, the charts on Gala are very indecisive, very like you could make an argument for up or down, and there's not necessarily. I mean, the only thing I could say, last thing I'll point out right here, is it does look like on this lower time frame you could potentially make it's not very good though. You could make an argument for this being a falling wedge, if you just understand that there's going to be not as many touches as you could. You can make the argument that the price is falling, setting lower highs and lower lows, but it's compressing, it's accumulating together, which is the definition of what a falling wedge is, and these traditionally break bullish. But again, I bet you I could just go back and forth finding a bullish indicator and a bearish indicator. Not a whole heck of a lot of confluence here on Gala. Tshroom, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was just going to say in defense of Lux Algo, I think the reason why the take profit is so low is because there's just not a lot of historical data. Like we started with that observation. When you started the TA, it only goes back to late 2022. So or late 2021. So I don't know.
So maybe you're saying that the information is gathering. It doesn't have enough history to get some good information.
Yeah, because the reversal cloud too is all messed up on Lux Algo. So it's just not. There's not enough data there for it to go on.
Maybe let's see if I cut it in half and go to the 12-hourly chart. Does it give me? It does give me a take profit on the sell order on the 12-hourly. So this one is saying strong. We have our red candles. We have a red trend catcher, and then the take profit is as low as 3.5 cents, and as aggressive. Oh, it's aggressive. Holy cow! Going all the way down to 0.7 cents. Again, I wouldn't say it's going to go that far. Again, one of my things I would make a question about. Yes, we have this one wick, but maybe the fact that we're continuing to bounce on this flat level resistance, and we did set a higher high over here. Could there be an argument that the community of Gala is strong? And this one I don't know the answer to because I'm not in the community of Gala. Is the community so strong that this level at 4.7 cents or whatever is so strong that maybe it can hold up just because there's just no weak hands left? Like maybe this wick created some, but when it was bought back up, you created more strong hands. I'm not looking at an on-chain metric right now, and I'm not familiar with the Gala community as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's just not enough data.
Yes. Well, before we close out today's stream, Smay, did we have any super chats that we need to read? I did see that we had some questions about membership stuff, which is awesome. But
no super chats.
no super chats. Did you see anything interesting in chat that we should answer before we close out today's stream?
I mean, somebody said here in chat about the gamer thing. He said, I'm a gamer and just don't like art NFTs. Well, I also think the games are still bad. So kind of just confirmed what me and Tshroom were kind of getting at. So
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, guys, that is all we have for today. Just before I let you guys go, a couple of announcements you need to know. Today, this afternoon at 6 p.m., we will be releasing a video covering news updates and the chart and then all the TA for AVAX. This has been really big in the news, and so we want to make sure we gave you a video with all of our thoughts and what we're seeing on the chart. So don't miss that tonight at 6 p.m. Also, tomorrow, we will be joined by, who is our guest for tomorrow? I forgot. Oh, yes.
Mark Yusko.
We have Mark Yusko coming on the show. So, I mean, hopefully we don't have any cancellations there. I need to email him today, but Mark Yusko will be joining the show. It's going to be phenomenal. And then in the afternoon tomorrow, I will be doing a live interview with Dan from Crypto Capital Venture, and I'm spoiling it for you. We're not going to be talking about Cardano. So if you're interested in what that conversation is going to be about, make sure you tune in tomorrow at 3:30. That is all I have for you, though, today, guys. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, smash that like button on your way out, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a